My name is Peter, and I was just the gardener. I never planned to fall in love with a married woman, especially not the one who lived in that grand, cold mansion in New York City. But love has a way of creeping in through the cracks, quietly, unexpectedly, like sunlight on a rainy morning. Jennifer was the wife of a wealthy man, Frank. To the world, they had everything. But behind closed doors, she was just a lonely woman searching for warmth in a house filled with silence. And I was the man who tended the roses, but somehow ended up tending her heart. We painted a guest house together, but in truth we painted our hearts, brushstroke by brushstroke, with something deeper. By the time Frank found out, it was too late. Jennifer was already carrying my child. This is not a story of betrayal. It's a story of how love sometimes grows in unexpected places and blooms when no one is watching. Before I continue with this story, I want to warmly welcome you all to Hearts Awakened, your surest channel for deep emotional, heartbreaking, and betrayal stories. If you're new here, please subscribe and hit on notifications, and for my returning subscribers, thank you for stopping by. When I first stepped through the tall iron gates of the Harper residence in Manhattan, I had no idea my life was about to change. I was just a gardener, 29, quiet, dependable, invisible. To them, I was Peter, the guy who trimmed hedges, mowed lawns, and kept the flowers alive. Nothing more. But to me, that garden became the place where everything began. Jennifer Harper was the kind of woman who didn't belong to this world of glass and silence. Her eyes always searched for color, her hands constantly brushing against petals like they were searching for something deeper. Her husband, Frank, was a successful man, always dressed sharp, voice like steel. He gave orders, not affection. It started with small things, a smile here, a compliment there. "The roses look lovely today, Peter." "Thank you, ma'am," I'd say, pretending not to feel the stir in my chest. One Tuesday morning, she came out barefoot, holding 2 cups of coffee. "You've been working since dawn," she said, offering me one. That coffee changed everything. We sat on the stone bench near the lilies and talked. Not about flowers or weather, but about books, music, dreams. She asked about my family. I told her I had none left. She said, "Sometimes I feel like I don't either." I saw her loneliness bloom in front of me, a garden of neglect. Frank traveled a lot, and even when he was home, he barely noticed her. Jennifer lived in a mansion, but walked like someone trapped in a cage. Then came the paint. "I want to repaint the guest house," she said one afternoon. "Something warm, something alive." She asked me to help, not just with the walls, but choosing the colors. We spent days dipping brushes into cans of red, gold, and sea green. We laughed when we spilled paint. We talked for hours while the walls dried. And slowly the colors weren't just on the walls anymore. They were on us. In the way we looked at each other. In how quiet became comfortable. In how our hearts began to hum the same tune. One evening, as the sun slipped behind the skyline, she stood beside me, arms covered in orange streaks. "Do you think love can find you in the wrong place?" she asked. I didn't answer. I couldn't. But my silence said more than words. I didn't mean to fall in love with her, but I did, and so did she. Frank didn't see it, or maybe he chose not to. The house was changing, and not just in color. The air felt warmer, the flowers bloomed brighter, the walls told a different story. It wasn't our hands alone that painted the house, it was our hearts. And in that quiet storm of color and care, we became something no one expected. Something beautiful, something forbidden. But it had already taken root. Frank stood behind her, holding the test kit in his hand. His face was unreadable. Not anger, not sadness, just disbelief. "Is it mine?" he asked Jennifer. She turned slowly. "No." Then he looked at me, and suddenly everything fell apart. He didn't yell, he didn't punch. He just walked out of the room and left the front door wide open behind him. Jennifer collapsed on the bed. I knelt beside her, unsure of what came next. The house that had once sung with colors now echoed with silence. But still, she held my hand, and somehow, even in the quiet, I knew this wasn't the end. It was the beginning of something neither of us had planned, but both of us were ready to face, together. Frank didn't return the next day, or the one after that. Jennifer called his phone once, no answer. She sent him a message, short and honest. "I didn't plan this, but I won't lie about it either." He never replied. The house changed again, not with color this time, but with truth. Jennifer stopped hiding. So did I. Neighbors whispered when they saw us in the garden together. The mailman noticed she had started to smile again. Even the housekeepers, once silent and cautious, began treating me with a strange mix of curiosity and respect. The shame people expected us to feel didn't come. What came instead was a quiet strength. Jennifer didn't walk with her head down. She walked like someone who had finally taken a deep breath after years of holding it in. One evening, under the maple tree in the back garden, she said something I'll never forget. "Do you know what love is, Peter?" I looked at her, hand resting gently on the curve of her belly. "It's not perfect," she continued. "It's not always neat, but when it's real, it grows, even in the wrong season." I didn't say a word. I didn't need to. Her words wrapped around me like roots in the soil. By the 4th week, Frank's lawyer sent papers, neatly typed, carefully worded. Divorce, no fights, no arguments, just closure. Jennifer didn't cry. "He was gone long before you came," she told me. "You just made me see it." That winter, the roses didn't bloom, but the daffodils surprised us early, and so did our child. A boy. We named him Julian, born in the same house where love once hid in shadows and now danced in daylight. I stayed, not as a gardener, but as a father, as a partner. Some people still talk, some still judge, but we don't live in whispers anymore. Jennifer painted the nursery sky blue with yellow stars. She asked me to help again. Like the guest house, we dipped our brushes and painted with hope. This time, we weren't hiding it. One night, as I rocked Julian to sleep, I thought about how strange love can be, how it sneaks in quietly, how it waits, and how sometimes it paints your whole world without permission. I was just the gardener, a man with muddy boots and quiet hands. But Jennifer saw more. She saw me, and through her I saw a life I never thought I deserved. A family, a home, painted not with scandal, but with truth. And every day, as I walk past the walls we painted, I remember, sometimes love grows where no one expects, and once it does, it never fades. If you find this story helpful and interesting, kindly subscribe to this channel for more exclusive videos.